Jackton Akelo. I'm a PhD candidate at St. Paul's University. I am researching on sustainability of community managed water kiosks within Kisumu County. This project is about looking at how the water projects that are managed by communities can be able to provide safe water to the beneficiaries for a long period of time. I'm looking at this from the perspective of how they're being designed and how they are being managed, as well as the characteristics of the users that benefit from these water points. It will be done within 3 sub-counties of Kisumu, that is Nyakach, Nyando, and Seme. And I've also gone further to sample 3 boreholes from each of the sub-counties, making them 9 boreholes across the 3 sub-counties, with a total of 34 kiosks. I'm using basically about 4 methods of data collection. The first is the review of the records that exists, including borehole completion reports. I'm also looking at the constitutions of the committees, the Water User Association committees, as well as the sales records and the banking statements, if any. That will look at the record review. The second method is focus group discussion, in which I am targeting the chairman of the committees, the people who designed the water points, the people who constructed the water points, the plumbers and the technicians who repair and maintain the water points, as well as the operators of each water kiosk of these places. Further, I am looking at doing key informant interviews with the representatives of the funders of these water points from different development partners. I'm also looking at spending time as key informants with the secretaries and the treasurers of these associations, and then finally I will conclude my work by doing household surveys for 487 households, proportionately distributed amongst the 34 kiosks that I'm looking at. The results from this study is going to help us provide work and opportunity and policy change issue with regards to the legal framework, as well as development partners, so that when they design a water provision systems, they will be able to have what are the key tenets that they need to put in place before for it to be more sustainable for a long time of period. So this research is taking place for my PhD study, which started in 2020, but for the research period, it has started January 2022 up to probably June 2022. That's basically about the research, and I hope that I could develop a model that can be used by the county governments, by the national government, by the NGOs and the international NGOs and other developing partners. This research has been supported, that is, I've been supported to do this research through Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Technology and the ETH, which is in Zurich, apart from the University of St. Paul's, where I'm registered as a candidate. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Daniel. They like to call me Dr. Daniel Mwasya, Director of Research at St. Paul's University. In this project, I'm the first supervisor of Jackton Akelo in his doctoral thesis. that seeks to model factors that influence the functional sustainability of water kiosks, or individuals who get water from community boreholes and they sell it to consumers. Consumers could be people in the city who don't have water. Consumers could be rural people who don't have water. Let me see what is a basic need. And being a basic need, that the bad part of the story is millions of water. Millions of people, especially in our country, don't have access to this basic commodity for life. They have to walk long distances to look for this commodity, and especially women and children, girls at most are affected because every morning they are the ones responsible for collecting water. And so think about millions of Kenyans who don't have these pipe water connections. So Akelo's project is fundamental to understanding where we can intervene in terms of evidence-based research to inform decision making. Where can we intervene based on what research coming from Akelo is saying to make sure water kiosks are functional, they are reliable, people are collecting water when they come, so that we take care of their health, education, and their well-being. So we look forward to, I'd come around to see Akelo do the first rounds of pre-testing of FGDs with kiosk operators, with the engineers who do the plumbing, so that as it moves forward, we assure quality of the research coming out of this work, so that we can better support community-based supply systems. Thank you.
What is the problem which made me choose this area? One is that sustainability is a very complex issue. It is a discussion that has been going on for long amongst development practitioners, and more so amongst the water development practitioners. We know that with the water points that we have, there is usually frequent breakdowns, and when these water points break down, unfortunately people have to walk long distances, they have to spend more, they have to resort back to the desperations that they had before the water systems were there. Further, we know that water is very critical for the development of any society. Amongst the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDG number 6 on water is actually related to 7 other SDGs, including health, including food production, industrialization, blue economy. All these relate to water. The breakdown are either as a result of technical issues, depending on how the system was designed, how piping was designed, where kiosk has been located, the quality and quantity, treatment of the water, or metering of the water system. We also have governance issues about committees, how the committees have been formed, whether these committees are functioning, the land tenure on which the water points or kiosks have been established. We have the problem of unaccounted water, or operations and maintenance of the water points. My ideal model would be where we have a functioning committee having a capacity to manage the water kiosks. And these kiosks have been designed and laid out for the appropriate use of the users that maintain also the quality. The objectives for my research, the general objective is to assess the interactions and the influences of decision-making processes, which is a governance issue. Piped water network system, which is a technical issue, and then beneficiary characteristics and how these factors interact and how they influence sustainability of community water kiosk services from the boreholes. Specifically, I need to determine the influence of water kiosks, how they have been piped, how they influence the sustainability, to examine the influence of the community decisions on the kiosks and how that sustainability exists, and to establish the interactions and influence of water kiosk beneficiary characteristics, how each household behave and how that influence the sustainability. Finally, is to develop a model for testing the significance of interrelationship between these towards sustainability. There are certain frameworks within the water service provision is done. The meso are the global, the macro are the national water governance systems, but we also have the lower level at the community level. What legal, what institution, what policy frameworks do we have? For example, a macro level is we are dealing with boreholes, and boreholes extraction is within the Water Resource Regulatory Authority. So what legal framework do we have before you drill a borehole? And do we have a framework of licensing or permitting before you do extension? How many extensions do you have? I will move and say that my research is looking at a mixed method design, mixed research design method, in which I'll be using both quantitative and the qualitative process. Sustainability, financial sustainability of community water kiosk is a function of a constant plus a function of water users characteristic plus a function of technical factors, and finally a function of governance. We also look at a model of saying that social sustainability of community water kiosk is a function of a constant factor plus a function of user characteristic plus a function of technical factors and a function of governance. Finally, we will look at environmental sustainability as a function of user characteristic, technical factor, and governance factor. And the final one is functionality of a water kiosk is a function of a factor, constant factor A, influenced by user characteristics, technical factors, and governance factors. Just as I conclude, so that we spend a bit more time in the tools themselves, I would like to acknowledge the support that EVAC has given us, the Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Science and Technology. They provided an upfront funding of about 1.2 million Kenya shillings equivalent, which is about 10,000 CHF, which part of it was used in preparation for 2021, and part of it will be used in the data collection. As well, the EVAC was able to, as a process of partnership, to release a staff, Dr. Sarah Marks, who is co-supervising my research work with the St. Paul supervisor. But in the process also had an opportunity to join the water and sanitation team, which has a collaboration of many countries, of many other students from Nepal, Switzerland, Bangladesh, who are also in the water and sanitation industry. Finally, the acknowledgement and appreciation is for the ETH, which through whom doctoral mentorship will be done to the tune of about 1.6 million Kenya shillings, equivalent of 14,400 US dollars. So basically, this is the introduction of my thesis, which is being done in partnership with EVAC and St. Paul's University as I go through the process of taking through my work. I would like to thank you, but remind you that actually you are part of the team that is supporting me in this research work for my studies, but also in contribution to the human knowledge in the areas of this research within Kisumu County. Thank you very much.